White paint from iridescent larva shells. A perfect finishing touch to any wooden construction. It was his last brave act. Reggie swore whatever this beast was, it would die screaming. Now the electricity was back, the little mole would take them on his tram. Reggie was sure a tram was the rumbling creature the miners had heard. More grubs in the sewers. Reggie looked forward to a day when being king didn't involve so much time in sewers. This foe was called Mole Mysterio by the crowd. The pups were happy again. Reggie left, now wondering why his father had given him a toy frog in the first place. Another of these fanged and clawed creatures. But if he could kill one, Reggie reasoned, he could kill two. This thug of a guard frog wasn't an easy kill, but it was a sweet one. The war chief was dead, and the kingdom saved. But what did it matter if his brother was gone? Reggie would need more than a sword on the road now, the ranger told him. He offered the king his best bow, a gift from his guild. Robin had been tracking this warband of frogs for some time. They were becoming quite the team in dealing with pond scum. He'd done it! He'd proved himself a worthy heir to his father's kingdom. The compass had guided the ranger to new hunting grounds. He gave his first kill to the king in gratitude. The chef's cellar would soon be overflowing. No, Reggie wouldn't believe it. Everything the evil frogs had taken from him, his father, his friend, his kingdom. They wouldn't take his brother, and they wouldn't take him. The toxic smoke was too thick to follow. But Reggie's mole friend told him there was hope. In Station 24/7, they sold a breathing device that would let him pass through the smoke unharmed. The king could go in Jay's automobile. Jay would stay and kill any frogs that came this way or die trying. The iron pipe looked like it had been broken recently. Toxic smoke billowed from it. The king couldn't enter. The Bog Brothers clan were finally destroyed. Reggie knew they would not be the last. The king was impressed by his brave mole friend. After the war, he hoped to know him and his strange people better. Not so lucky this time. The elder hadn't seen the frogs with the smith. But maybe the ever-vigilant rangers had seen where the frogs had gone. Young Robin had been headed to the Rangers' Lodge. Maybe Reggie could ask there. Reggie has more than frogs to overcome to restore peace to his kingdom. A traditional Moletown burger. It had an unusual texture, but it was hearty fare. The pump was working. Time to get this fuel back to Jay for his automobile. The elder had started placing quests on the village notice board. Getting the old rat to part with some coin was no bad idea, considering the funds needed to rebuild the Crimson Fort. The guard captain, who had recovered, had spread word of the king's rescue of the elders. To show their gratitude, the villagers would help rebuild the rat fort. This would be a true challenge, unleashing wave upon wave of foes on Reggie. He hoped he had the iron to go the distance. Longtail Village always smelled of fresh, whole bug bread before. Now it reeked of burning fur and gore. And something putrid. Pond slime, and those that dwelt in it. The Frog Clan Bog Brothers. This was the fuel pump Jay spoke of, though it didn't seem to be working. Maybe, like the tram, it too needed electricity to work. The breathing device was not cheap. He'd need to earn it in the arena. More practice for frog battles to come. Reggie remembered a time when kings sent their subjects on errands, and not the other way around. The bridge cracked under his weight. The darkness stretched endlessly below. But Reggie had a kingdom to fight for. The switch that gave electricity must be beyond this room. but they'd have to get past the Grubmother first. She was the one infesting the mines with her grublings. The mozzie nest was packed with eggs. Robin hoped they'd survive to tell the story, as no doubt it'd be a fine one. The Mozzie King. Smaller than his female counterpart, but just as ferocious. Getting to Ranger territory wouldn't be an easy journey. The woodcutter had a wheel. He was willing to part with it, for a price. The smith's blueprints were destroyed by the frogs. The only other copy is the original Blueprints of Smithing, buried with their great-grandfather in the Forbidden Crypts. The captain was right. The frogs were inside. The villagers, they had no more fighters. Until now. The young king hoped that was the last of them, and that the smell would wash off his armor. The ranger needed help. Reggie hoped his bow would last the fight.